Join us as we continue our series on the Richwood Lutheran Church.
Well, the men would sit on one side and the ladies would sit on the other side.
But you weren't part of it, huh?
No.
Well, I was.
Sunday school.
My husband took me to church when we were first married, and he wasn't going to be able to sit with me. And I said, I'm not sitting alone. You come and sit right here with me. And he did. So that kind of broke it up.
Well, we had junior choir practice, and we sang for junior choir, and we always had a junior choir.
And the four of us was a quartet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Jeanette and Alice, and who else was it?
Yeah, Betty sang with us too.
Betty Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sang with us too.
She was an important person.
And Marion Gendron too.
Yeah. Well, Marion Gandron's been gone for a long time.
I know she has.
But she was a real important person, and she was one that was a young person in the church and busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she was.
We had a very nice, friendly, family-like attitude in our church. Everybody was that way with each other. When they come to church, one would say, "Hi!" And it was pleasant. And you could always talk with any of them. One of the first ladies that came over to me when I was sitting all by myself at Ladies' Aid was a Gandrud. I can't remember her name. You know, at 95 almost, my memory's not good anymore.
Tell me about it.
But that's one thing I remember. She came over and she talked to me and said, "Come on, come over here with the rest of us ladies." And that was so nice because you didn't feel like you were an outsider. So that's one thing about the church. They're all so friendly. They're all so nice to you. And we're always thinking about how we can improve and make it look more beautiful. And we've done that. And Wallace, my husband, and Henry Lee were the important ones in putting on the new roof of the church years ago. And I don't know who was brave enough to crawl up to the top of that steeple. If you've ever seen the steeple, you can see it from the highway, 59, that big tall steeple on that church. And somebody had to crawl up there and put shingles on that little piece that stuck up there because it was leaking. And who was brave enough to do that? I can't remember. I don't think it was my husband, and I don't think it was Henry Lee.
No, I don't think so either.
They got a hold of somebody that was brave enough to put the shingles on the top of that steeple.
Probably was Wallace Erickson.
You think
I think
so?
he would.
Yeah, he probably was brave enough. And I can remember standing down there when they were doing that. And I thought, oh no, don't fall, because there was no place you could hang on to until a little further down, huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Those men of the church, they did a lot of things.
Yeah, they did.
And they took good care of that church.
The angel on the painting of the altar is so meaningful, because I have seen a lot of paintings about Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, but I've never seen an angel looking down on Christ as he's praying. And it was always comforting to me when I looked at the altar and saw the painting and seeing that angel there. And it's just such a peaceful feeling when you look at the altar and that beautiful painting. So I remember that as a child growing up in the church. Another thing I remember is we always had a huge junior choir, and we'd have vacation Bible school, and I remember all these wonderful songs we'd sing in choir and during vacation Bible school. And we always played softball at recess time. And we were also pleased because the church had a perfect ball diamond. The first base was one of the railings on the church, and then second base was this gorgeous tree placed perfectly, positioned for second base. Third base was another gorgeous tree, and then home plate was right on the side of the church. So it was like, it was perfect, and we always just loved it, and we played ball there so many times. And if we hit one over across the road, it would be an automatic home run. Well, one Sunday we all came to church, and lo and behold, our second and third bases had been cut down. And we're going, what happened? Well, we learned that they had to make more parking places, so... But at first it was a little hard to accept because that diamond was just perfect and we loved playing there. But it had to be cut down. We understood that after a while. We would go Christmas caroling, Julebacking. Yeah, it was fun. Christmas fooling. We'd be going to people's homes and then start singing, and then they'd come out and give us a treat. And so I believe that was called Julebacking. But again, I remember it being just a very loving, nurturing atmosphere, kind of like a family, small family country church atmosphere. And it was a 3-point parish. It means that Baki and Lund and Richwood were all grouped together in the same area in the country, and a pastor would be called to all 3 churches. So we would have 3 churches, 3 services every Sunday morning. But still, the churches were all quite close, even though we were separate. So it was a good place to grow up. I have many fond memories of it.
My memories center around a man named Wallace Erickson. When I worked at the museum in Detroit Lakes, he volunteered a lot, and Wallace was just a very colorful man, and he's the one that got my husband and I started here at Richwood Lutheran Church. And he was a brave person. He went around and talked to people, went to their homes and recruited people to come to church. Because he felt so strongly he didn't want his church to die out, and numbers were down, and so he did a lot to get people to come here to Richwood Lutheran. And yeah, we used to invite Wallace to come and eat, and he had a definite Norwegian brogue, and it was just fun to listen to him talk. And he knew a lot of history. You know, he talked about World War II, and he was a farmer. And you couldn't buy a tractor unless it had steel wheels because, of course, you couldn't get rubber. And he just had a lot of great stories. It was just fun to visit with him. He talked a lot about the chandelier because I think it meant a lot to him that the memorial money from his mother actually got the chandelier going again. And it's so beautiful, you know. So he talked about that a lot. He loved the children, I know that. He talked about the kids in Sunday school, and my grandkids go here to Sunday school, and I think Wallace would just be really proud of the way things are going.